If you present marketing work inside a company, there's one phrase that quietly transfers risk onto you. It's not revision, it's not feedback. It's this phrase: looks good. You present a campaign, you explain the strategy, you walk through the insights that led to everything. Everyone nods. Someone says, yeah, looks good. You feel it land. You leave the room relieved. But 3 days later, 9:47 p.m., a Slack message. Quick thought. Your stomach drops. You already know what's next. And just like that, what looked good doesn't look good anymore. The same work is back. You open the deck again. You start justifying decisions you already justified. A week later, you are on version 7. And when it finally ships 2 weeks late, no one says our decision was unstable. They say the marketer needed 12 versions for it to land. Here's the part no one says out loud. Looks good does not protect you, because most of the time, no one actually owned the decision. And when no one owns it, the instability lands on you. After all, your name is attached to the work. That's what I call the approval illusion. And once it starts repeating, your reputation quietly shifts. You stop looking strategic. You start looking executional. Let's break the 5 structural mistakes that make looks good meaningless, quietly erode your authority, and bleed your marketing budget. Here's what makes this expensive. When something is approved, the machine moves. Design finalizes, media gets booked, timelines get shared, internal teams shift capacity, momentum builds. So when it reopens, you are not adjusting a slide, you are rebuilding momentum in hours, in coordination, in morale, in credibility. You start walking into the next meeting slightly pre-defensive. You tighten your tone. You over-explain, not because you lack confidence, but because you no longer trust the room. Most budget leaks don't look chaotic. They look collaborative. And that's what makes them dangerous. So, mistake number 1. You never locked the criteria. Everyone was in the same room, but they were not judging the same thing. One person reacted to visuals. One focused on performance. Somebody else imagined what leadership might say, or evaluated brand tone. So approval, while sounded unified, wasn't, because no one said what good actually meant before the discussion started. When criteria aren't locked, approval is vague. And vague approval does not survive contact with new opinions. It might survive one meeting, but not time. That's when looks good quietly collapses. And you are the one left defending it. So, what's the fix? Before feedback begins, say this: we are judging this on the following criteria, and not on whether it's personally exciting. Say it. Name the criteria out loud. Then stop talking. Now feedback has rails. No rails, no stability. Mistake number 2. You asked an open question. You finish presenting and say, so, what do you think? That sentence feels polite, collaborative, professional, but it just destroyed your decisions. Because now people aren't evaluating the work. They are performing intelligence in the room. Someone leans forward, someone clears their throat. Someone who hasn't spoken feels pressure to contribute. No one wants to look disengaged. No one wants to look unintelligent. No one wants to be silent. The spotlight is now on them. So everyone says something, anything, personal taste, opinion, random reference. Not because it adds value to the campaign, but because silence feels risky. Nothing they say improves the work or gives you any clear direction to adjust. Open questions create noise. Noise creates doubt, and doubt reopens work. So what's the fix? Replace the "what do you think" with "does this solve the problem we agreed on? Does this convey the message we have confirmed?" This is where you circle back to the criteria you set. Now feedback anchors to something specific. Not taste, not personal opinions, not hierarchy. Mistake number 3. New voices enter mid-process. The campaign gets approved. Then somebody sends it to the CEO or the founder or someone who just wanted to see it. But that person wasn't in the room. They did not walk the walk. They didn't agree to criteria. So they react as if no decision happened. And now you're back with version number 5. Every time that happens, your perceived decisiveness drops. Not because your thinking changed, but because the decision never actually closed. If this repeats long enough, you get labeled difficult, or slow, or hard to align with, and that label sticks. So what's the fix? Name the decision group early and lock it. This group is closing this decision. No new people enter mid-process. It's not for debate. Mistake number 4. You created space for doubt. You left the meeting with, let's sleep on it, let's reflect, let's not rush. This sounds responsible, but toward what? If criteria are clear and options meet them, thinking more does not add clarity. It simply adds space. And space invites doubt. Doubt invites new opinions, which reopen the existing work. When there is no explicit reason for delay, delay becomes permission to unravel the decision. You walk out thinking it's done. They walk out thinking it's still open. That gap is where your authority erodes. So what's the fix? If it fails criteria, name it. It doesn't align with X. If it meets criteria, close it. Unstructured delay is budget leakage disguised as caution. Mistake number 5. You never closed it out loud. The meeting ends with, looks good. Yeah, we are aligned. Sounds fine. But no one says, this is the selected version. This moves forward unchanged. This is now closed. So psychologically, it never locks. And if it never locks, reopening doesn't feel like breaking a decision. It feels like continuing the same conversation. So what's the fix? Before the meeting ends, say this clearly. This is the chosen direction. It moves forward as presented, unchanged. Then stop talking. Silence forces ownership. That single sentence has saved teams months of invisible rework. Why you get blamed for all of this? Well, when campaigns drag, leaders don't see structural instability. What they see is too many versions, too much back and forth. Why did this take so long? They don't see unclear criteria. They don't see open questions. They don't see undefined ownership. They see you. I've watched marketing teams lose six-figure budget over this, not because the work was bad, but because the decisions were soft. If approved work keeps reopening, it's almost never creative incompetence. It's meeting instability, undefined decision groups, and approval illusion. Structure failed, and when structure fails, marketing absorbs the blame. And since your name is attached to the work, it lands on you. If you've ever felt uneasy after hearing looks good, that instinct was right. Approval without ownership is just a pause. Fix how decisions are judged and closed, and campaigns stop reopening. Timelines stabilize. Revisions drop. You stop defending work you already defended. Marketing budget stops bleeding. And most importantly, you stop carrying responsibility for decisions that were never truly locked.